Psychic damage is one of the more interesting damage types in the game. It is one of the best damage types as well, besides force damage or magical physical damage, because while psychic is very rarely resisted, it still can be resisted against constructs, mostly constructs and objects, against that which has no effects. Again, this is one of the easiest to logic out because psychic affects the mind, so things that don't have minds, machines and non-living things, would of course be unaffected by this. Surprisingly, while many sonic creatures exist, and dish out psionic damage, psychic damage, like Githyanki and the Mind Flayer, not many of them, at least as many as you'd expect, actually have psychic resistance, like those ones listed. Again, it is the only damage type that barbarians don't, bear totem barbarians don't get resistance to. But there are still ways to get resistance to it. The Kalashtar racial ability gives them resistance. The Intellect Fortress as a spell gives this benefit. The Aberrant Sorcerer and Goo Warlock give this benefit. Those both being very psychic-oriented subclasses, which kind of really dig into the flavor of the mind. Deep Speech being associated with aberrant stuff also is very psychic-based. Surprisingly not necessarily resistant, but at least like that's the type of that they use a lot. And then also Deep Speech is highly associated with that because the world of the aberrant and things like that. Also, like when you get like to the Underdark, that's kind of a lot of associated like that. You have like Psychic, Duragar, Starspawn are also resistant to Psychic, all the different types. The Quarry from Eberron, just similar to the Kalashtar, sort of everything from that weird dreaming dark place have resistance to Psychic, which is just a little fun fact about it. Also, there is rare cases where a creature might have vulnerability to Psychic, like the Flump. Enchantment and Illusion are enchantment mainly are the schools most linked to psychic damage, though it also appears in divination and evocation. Dissonant Whispers, Geese, Feeble Mind, Maddening Darkness, Mental Prison, Mind Sliver, Mind Spike, Phantasmal Force, Phantasmal Killer, Psychic Scream, Staggering Smite, Shadow Blade, Synaptic Static, Vicious Mockery, Mind Whip, Weird, and Wrathful Smite. So it's, mental damage like insults that don't hurt the body but hurt the soul and mind. Mind illusions, which I really love the flavor of that. Like your Shadow Blade is an illusion, so it's not actually hurting them. It's just like the pain is so real in their mind that their body physically gets hurt. Like, oh, that's a cool flavor. Or Fear and Horror, which mentally breaks you and your psyche. There's also like debuffs, is like Staggering Smite related to it, which is interesting. Kind of like weakening the mind, hurting the mind kind of weakens the body. I see that sort of like, very like a stun thing where when the mind is just overwhelmed, the body can't function. The Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, Psy Knife, Rogue, Psy Warrior, Fighter, and Great Old One Warlock all focus on psychic damage in the mind. That's pretty a big chunk. They're given abilities like telekinesis type things, ability to deflect psychic invasions, to like there's Side Knife does have a teleportation ability, but that's more based on the knives. Stunning, things like that. And the also have a lot of charming effects because enchantment is one of the things that is linked to it. Again, that makes sense. The mind is something that you can control, and so psychic damage, you barrage, and then they are yours to play with. So psychic manifests in different, because it's unseen, which is cool. So like it can break down a mind rather than causing harm. Senses can become disabled or unreliable as the brain is assailed. Their ability to process information like synaptic static or mind web interferes with their function, or reflexes and things like that, overstimulating the mind or depriving it of such. Again, like illusions affected as well, experiencing like dying and pain in their mind, causing them to actually feel that, which is again really cool flavor wise, and there's a ton that you can do with it. Intense strokes, like psychic scream, could cause bleeding from their eyes and nose and mouth, comas or bleaching catatonic states, intense migraines, confusion, incoherency. Like there is a loss of memory, sensations that they feel that aren't actually there. Things like that are a ton of ways you can flavor it. Scream effects like the Banshee's wail to astral weapons like the Githyanki that rip into the mind, focused on very mental. But there are multiple ways to apply this. Flavor alone makes psychics one of my favorite damage types. Imagine the ways you can alter spells with like Scry Wizard by making them psychic. Like spells that poison can be that you're like damaging their motor part of their mind, cause their body to slow, or like you can get even really weird. Like Thunderstep could be like you mentally imagining where you're gonna go, and your mind, like magic empowers your mind to do that, and just becomes so powerful that anyone in the radius just gets overwhelmed by that force. There are a lot of fun options with them. You know, your Professor X's, your 11s live out that that sort of fantasy, as well as like cosmic horror. You know, as we talked about mind flayers and things like that. So there's wonderful flavor in this. So take advantage and have fun.